afternoon and it was a nice day, so I thought I'd walk to my friend Binky's house. She lives on 75th and Columbus, which I realise is a very long walk, but I thought the exercise would do me good. I hadn't eaten yet, so I stopped at the diner on my corner for some breakfast, and I picked up a newspaper so I'd have something to do. Well, I was reading my paper, and the waiter comes over to me and asked me if I was alone. Well, it was obvious I was alone. I was sitting there in a booth by myself. Did he think I thought I had an imaginary friend with me? I was alone. Did he have to rub it in? Was he trying to be funny? Did he think he was in some way better than me? Oh, it was his tone. He said, "Are you alone?" But what he meant was, "You're alone, aren't you?" And I can't imagine that he's not alone every single day of his miserable, pathetic life. He has terrible skin, and it's not attractive. Not the way that bad skin, or at least the remnants of bad skin, is attractive on some people. On some men. It's never attractive on women. Have you noticed that? Just another of the injustices we are forced to suffer. If we have bad skin, we're grotesque. Let a man have bad skin and he can be Richard Burton, for Christ's sakes. I hate being a woman. I've strayed. The point is, this waiter has terrible skin and greasy hair, and his breath stinks of something dead, and his face is entirely too close to mine, and he insults me with his breath and his tone of voice and asks me if I'm alone. I feel my face go flush, and I want to pull his head off. I'd like to pull out his hair, only I'd never be able to get a decent grip. Looks as though it hasn't been washed in a decade. I want to take my butter knife and stab in his sunken, caved-in chest. But I simply respond, "No, thank you, I'm married." I realise now, of course, that my answer was illogical. I realised that it was inappropriate, but at the time, it was all I could think of to say. Well, the waiter leans back and really, in this most supercilious manner, leers at me and intones, "I meant, are you eating alone?" I knew what you meant. I knew what he meant. I don't know why I said what I said. I just said it. He made me sick. I hope he dies. I shouted, "I knew what you meant." And I am not a person that shouts, generally. It hurts to shout, and it hurts to be shouted at. My mother would shout quite a lot, and I always thought it made the veins in her neck look like the roots of a tree. Everyone stared at me, because I was standing. I don't mean to be standing, I don't remember standing, but I was. I was standing. I must have leapt up when I shouted. The place was incredibly busy, much busier than I ever recall it being before. And suddenly it occurred to me that these people, my neighbours, gawking at me in endless silence, were the very same people who had watched me and Ford have sex that first night we met. I was humiliated. I thought I would die, or be sick. I was certain I was going to be sick right there, standing up, being stared at. And then everyone in the neighbourhood would mutter every time they saw me under their breath, "Oh, there goes that woman. We've seen her have sex, and we've seen her vomit."